I am Shubhashri Bhatt. I was working as a senior QA for 10 plus years. I'll be taking a manual testing class for you people. Like before testing, like how to test. What then before that we need to know what to test. Like what is the software testing, how the flow will be, how the workflows will be, how the procedure will be. They should be knowing. Okay. Software testing is a process like that, evaluating the software application to identify the defects and make sure that it meets the specified requirement or not. Okay, in real time example, if I want to say, like, say, suppose like we have a XYZ company, XYZ bank, and they have some set of requirement for their mobile application. Say they like application should look like this, and all these features should be there, and all the that feature should work in particular way. They have some set of requirement for their mobile application. We'll take that as an example, and they have a requirement. That requirement will be given to the IT company. In IT company, there will be a BA, business analyst. Okay, he will collect the requirement. He will understand the requirement, and he will analyze like business flows and all the pros and cons. He will understand, and he will uh, collect those requirement and give it to the team. Okay, in team that the project manager will handle rest of the case. So he will understand the requirement and he will create a story based on the team structure. Like some people are good at front end development and some people are good at back end development. So based on that, he will divide the user story and he will assign to the particular development team. Okay, and then comes a QA in the sense like quality assurance. We assure the quality of the product or the environment application. Okay, whether it meets the requirement, it is a bug free and deliver on time is all depend on a QA. That is a quality assurance. What we'll do, like it will go parallelly. Most of the cases, it will go parallelly. Development will start developing the application, and testing team will start writing a test cases, scenarios. They will understand if any doubts. They will reach out to the BA and get more knowledge on the product or application, and it'll go like that. And after that, whatever the product is ready, once everything is tested, then it will go to the production, then it will go to the end user. Once production release is done, it will go to the end user like a bank. And then if any issues from an end user perspective, because some environment issue may cause sometimes, that time the maintenance everything will happen and it will goes on like this. This is the basic flow of a like application, how it goes like a software team. Okay, from the scratch, collecting requirement from the end user perspective. This is the basic flow. Real time example, like how to test the application. Say suppose you have taken a e-commerce application like a login page. You just can take any page, any login page, like any e-commerce application. Take, enter valid username and password. It should log in. That should be the minimal requirement, right? So it should work. If you enter a wrong password, it should throw error, right? If it is throwing error, it is behaving correctly. If you enter an invalid credential, it is not showing any error and it is allowing to log in. That is a defect. That is what we will find out in our application. Okay, that is a defect. That is called bug. Then comes to the like definition and objectives. Like what is the objective? Definition we already understood, like what is the software testing and all. What is the objective of it? Objective is to detect defect early, ensure the quality and the reliability, and validate the functionality against the requirement and improve the user satisfaction. It means like detect defects early. What it means, like suppose, okay, there is a bank application, and you are doing some payment transaction, and once money got deducted and it fails, it got deducted, it didn't reach to the end user, that's a huge loss, huge business loss, right? So testing prevents all this. If you test the product before giving it to the real customer, this prevents all those such business loss. That is detect defect early means it is in that sense. Okay. Ensure quality and reliability. Ensure that it is very reliable application, and it is like not compromising with the quality. And if you suppose if you are doing something and if you are logging and log out twice or thrice and it is crashing, then it is not reliable or it is not quality application, right? Like if you try multiple times attempt, then again also it is allowing, no, the bank application won't work in that way. Suppose if you are login wrong attempt, if you have done for 3 times, then you have to prompt up saying that you have been logged for the day, you can attempt next day only. So such things we have to make sure that quality and a reliable product we are giving. Okay, that way we have this. This is very important in a software testing, and validate the functionality against the requirement. In the sense, like suppose they have some certain set of requirement, we have to validate against it whether all the requirement meet the or the functionality meet the requirement or not, to validate. Okay, that QA team will take care. And improve user satisfaction. End user satisfaction is very, very important. So user perspective, like user acceptance criteria, there will be so many things, user satisfaction, all those things will come under that testing part itself. So based on that, this objective and software testing is picked. Okay. Main goal is to achieve the development, like software development process. Testing is not only about finding bugs, it is also ensure that application works correctly and delivers quality and on time. That is very important. Okay. We have to ensure that quality meets on time. The performing effectively, whether effective, meaningful testing has been done. We have to take care of all those things. Why it is important? Why it is important? Because understanding the objective helps in achieving a better software quality. Okay. Then comes manual testing. Manual testing is a type of software testing where testers executed test cases manually without any code. Okay, without any coding knowledge or without any automation tools, they will do the manual testing. They will do it manually. That is the manual testing. Okay, in manual testing, the tester checks the application, like interacting with the end users, verifies how it behaves, whether it is behaving as expected or not. All those things he will check. It is one of the basic and very important type of testing, okay, especially for the beginners. Why it is important is it is easy to start. No programming language required, no automation tools required. So it is very easy to start. Okay. And human observation. Second one is human observation. Tester can identify usability and UI issues easily, like, okay, without any external tools help. You can identify the usability and UI issue. You cannot cover all the UI issues, or you can handle all UI related things in automation. So for that, like suppose, for example, how I can say, like logo is slightly bent towards left or slightly modified. The color is not exactly looking. All those things is just a human observation. We can find all the UI issues without using any tools help. we can identify that logo, the any spelling mistake is there, or anything is like not properly aligned, or something is like not, the color is mismatching, all those such UI issues, uh, with a human observation we can find easily. Okay, and flexible testing can test different scenarios and different test cases without any script. Okay, that is a flexible testing. Useful for exploratory testing. What is exploratory testing? Like without understanding, without knowing the requirement, you will just test. Suppose some people gave me some XYZ banks or XYZ e-commerce cart application. I'll not be knowing any requirement because the requirement is not shared with me. I am just an end user. I am just testing. As an end user, I am testing. I find bug. I can find bug because um, with my knowledge, with my expertise, I can just do exploratory testing and I can find the unexpected bugs. Okay, those things can help in a manual testing. Okay, there are, you might be heard of error, bug, and failure. All those things are not same actually. What is error? Error is a human mistake, right? Like development team typed something and it causes a error. Okay, that is error. Human mistake is a error. Bug is a deviation of a expected requirement. Suppose they have a requirement like invalid credential should throw error, and it is not throwing error. It is a deviation from the expected requirement, right? So that is called bug or a defect. What is failure? Failure is a environment related issue that gets failed. Like suppose environment related, like in our development or testing environment, whatever the application we build, it may work, and without any issues it may work. When we give it to the end user, their environment might be problem. Okay, because environment to environment there will be sometimes fluctuating, there is chances of getting issues, okay, at the end user point of view. Usually happens at the this, and failure will happen usually at the end user point of view. Okay, so in manual testing, like tester perform the testing activities like step by step, like how he will test, like how the QA team will take care of the manual testing processes, understanding the requirement. They'll get a requirement as per the user story. User stories will be created in a Jira or Azure, whatever the test management tool. Jira, Azure, Redmine, all those things are you might be knowing already. So that is a test management defect tracking tools. Okay, their user stories will be there, and user stories per user stories will be having a requirement. Okay, we will take that requirement. Suppose user story one, okay, is a login page that has some set of requirement and everything is covered in that. We have to understand the requirement, analyze how the application, what the application should do. All those analyzing the requirement will do in understanding the while reading the stories. Okay. Then comes writing a test scenario and a test cases. Okay, test scenario is writing a highlight of it. Like suppose you have 10 set of a test point, okay, requirement, and you will divide into like positive scenario, negative scenario, all these things. You will just one line scenarios, maybe you will write it, and based on that you will convert that into a test cases. After that, based on the scenarios whatever you have written, you will convert into the test cases based on that, according to the functionality. Okay, and execute test cases. Execute test cases in the sense like you have to run the test cases manually on the application. Suppose you have to log into the bank application, mobile application, you have to enter a valid credential, login should happen. Like that, you have to manually execute the test cases. And then comes report a bug. Report a bug in a bug tracking tool. Like under the user story, you will create a defect. Based on that user story, you will assign to the particular developer. Like suppose user story 1 is assigned to developer A, and you are creating a defect because you found some of the issue in a login page, or it is not throwing error, it is not behaving as expected. You will create a defect and you will assign to the particular developer. Okay, and developer will take that issue and he will work on it. He'll fix that defect. Okay, and he will again give it to the testing team. Then comes retesting and a regression. Okay, retesting in the sense, like suppose you have created one defect and you verify the fixes. Okay, you verify whether whatever the defect you have raised, whether it got fixed or not, is just retesting. You're just testing that whether it got fixed. That is retesting. What is regression? There is a difference between retesting and a regression. What is regression? Regression is like whatever the fix they gave, it should not cause or it should not introduce any new issues, right? That you will cover in a like regression. Okay, there will be another set of regression test cases also. You will make sure it is like regression test suite is there, and you have to execute that also. Based on that, you will make sure that it is there. Okay. Next comes manual versus automation. Okay, like some how to say, like some suppose feature execution we can take. In manual, what we will do, we will perform testing manually, right? Perform manually, like human testing without any automation tool or without any script. What automation will do, it will execute using automation tools and a script. Whatever the script you have written for the login page, it will execute based on that. Okay, that is a different. It will be done by a human manually, and it will be done by a automation tool or a script. Okay, that is how execution part will take care. That is the difference between manual and automation. And then comes speed. Okay, manual is time consuming and it is very slower. Automation significantly faster for like repetitive task. Like suppose one login page and something is like, I am just taking as it is basic. Everybody can understand. I'm just taking it as a login page only. So it is working fine, like without any interruption. So, and you just not need to do manually, and you have written a script for it, repeat, because it is a repetitive task, logging in, logging out, doing all some task or a repetitive task that can be very faster. You don't have to go do particularly, it is a time consuming, right? It is a very slower. Compared to manually, automation is significantly fast. And then comes accuracy. Like it is a prone to human error and fatigue, right? Like suppose accuracy, you cannot say whatever I have tested is 100% accurate. You cannot say that. But automation is highly accurate and consistent. Like suppose you have written one script to log in or some, I want to take it login as an example. I can say adding something to the cart in an e-commerce application. It is very accurate. If that is not there, like it is out of stock, that particular item is out of stock, then it is highly accurate to throw some error immediately. Okay, that is very highly accurate. And then comes cost. Okay, see, cost initially manual is very low cost, and it is a long term labor cost, right? Long term, it is a it is not cost effective. Initially, it may be a less cost, but it is not a long term cost effective. But automation is higher upfront. Like one time you will invest on some load runner or whatever, you will just invest for some first time, and it is cost effective. That's why it is automation is preferable. And flexibility. Here there is some difference. Flexibility is very high. Like suppose you have deployed, everything is done, requirement, everything done, and you have given it to the end user, and end user wanted some changes. That changes, manual tester can adopt very easily and quickly. They can change everything and they can test it. But automation, it's not like that. Like every UI and logical changes, even script should update according to that. The flexibility is low compared to the manual testing here. That is the only problem. Okay.